The Galactic Council Chamber was the largest structure ever built by any species. It floated in the empty space between three ancient star systems. Its walls were made of crystal that had been grown over 10,000 years. Inside, representatives from 412 spacefaring civilizations gathered to witness what they believed would be the end of humanity. Admiral stood alone on the small platform reserved for lesser species. He was 63 years old. His hair was gray. His uniform was simple black with no medals or decorations. Around him, towering aliens looked down from their elevated seats. Some had scales. Some had feathers. Some had bodies made of light itself. All of them watched him with what humans would call pity. The High Commander rose from his throne. His name was impossible for human tongues to speak. He stood 12 feet tall. His skin was the color of burned copper. 4 arms extended from his massive body, each one ending in claws that could cut through steel. Behind him, holographic displays showed the Empire's territory. It covered 1/3 of the known galaxy. "Human representative," the High Commander said. His voice echoed through the chamber like thunder. "Your species has been judged." Did not move. He did not speak. He simply waited. The High Commander continued. "For 300 years we have watched your kind. You spread across your solar system like insects. You built your little ships. You created your small colonies on dead rocks. We found this amusing." Laughter rippled through the chamber. A species called the, who looked like giant insects themselves, made clicking sounds of agreement. The beings of pure energy pulsed with bright light to show their approval. "But now," the High Commander said, his voice growing cold, "you have gone too far. Your ships entered the neutral zone. Your people killed 17 soldiers. This is an act of war." Admiral finally spoke. His voice was quiet but clear. "Those soldiers were attacking a human medical ship. They fired first. We defended ourselves." The chamber went silent for a moment. Then the High Commander laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "You defended yourselves." He stepped forward and the platform beneath him moved with him. "Little human, do you understand what you are saying? You are claiming the right to fight the Empire. We have conquered 600 worlds. We have destroyed species older than your sun. Our fleet numbers in the hundreds of thousands." He leaned down toward. His eyes were like pools of liquid fire. "How many warships does Earth have, human? 1,000? 2,000? We could burn your entire civilization in a single afternoon." Met his gaze without fear. This surprised many in the chamber. Humans were supposed to be weak. They were supposed to be afraid. Every other young species had trembled when facing the. "I am here to discuss peace," said simply. "Peace?" The High Commander straightened up. "There is only one peace we will accept: complete surrender. Your species will become servants of the Empire. Your worlds will become our property. Your people will work in our mines, on our farms, in our factories. This is the only future available to you." From the elevated seats, other species nodded. This was how things worked in the galaxy. The strong ruled. The weak served. It had been this way for 1,000,000 years. A representative from the spoke up. Her voice was like glass breaking. "The humans should accept. It is better than extinction. They are merciful. They will let you live as slaves." "Indeed," said an entity, its light flickering with each word. "We have seen them destroy entire civilizations for lesser offenses. Be grateful they offer you anything at all." Admiral looked around the chamber. He saw the faces of 412 species. Not one of them showed sympathy. Not one of them offered to help. In this galaxy, humanity had no friends. He thought about Earth. He thought about the 8 billion people living there. He thought about the colonies on Mars, on Europa, on Titan. He thought about the generation ships traveling to distant stars, carrying families who dreamed of new homes. "How long do we have to decide?" he asked. The High Commander smiled. It was the smile of a predator. "One standard galactic week. After that, our fleets will move. Your worlds will burn. Your people will die. Every human colony will be reduced to ash and forgotten." He waved one of his 4 arms dismissively. "Go home, little human. Tell your leaders what I have said. Pray to whatever gods you believe in, and prepare to kneel." Admiral bowed slightly. It was not a bow of submission. It was simply politeness. "I will deliver your message," he said. As he turned to leave, the High Commander called out one more time. "Human, do not think of fighting. We have scanned your solar system. We know exactly what you have. 3,000 warships, most of them old and weak. 47 defense stations. A population with no real military training. You have nothing." Stopped at the door, he did not turn around. "You know what we have shown you," he said softly. "You know what we have allowed you to see." Then he walked out of the chamber. The aliens laughed at his words. What a foolish thing to say. What could the humans possibly be hiding? They were one of the youngest species in the galaxy. They had only discovered faster-than-light travel 200 years ago. They were children compared to the ancient empires that ruled the stars. But Admiral was not foolish. As his small shuttle carried him away from the council chamber, he opened a secure communication channel. The encryption on this channel was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It could not be detected. It could not be broken. "This is Admiral," he said into the communicator. "I am sending the code." He typed in a sequence of numbers that he had memorized 40 years ago. Numbers that every high-ranking officer in Earth's military knew by heart. Numbers that had been passed down in secret for generations. Somewhere far away, in the cold darkness beneath the surface of Earth's moon, ancient machines received the signal. Lights that had been dark for decades began to glow. Computers that had been sleeping for centuries started to wake. And deep in the hidden places that no alien had ever found, humanity's true power began to stir. The galaxy thought they knew humans. They were wrong. They were about to learn just how wrong they had been. Commander had spent her entire adult life waiting for this moment. She was 41 years old. She had joined the military at 18. She had trained in secret facilities that officially did not exist. She had learned to operate ships that no public record mentioned. And now, standing in the command center buried 3 miles beneath the surface of Luna, she watched as the greatest secret in human history came to life. The room around her was enormous. It stretched for half a mile in every direction. Thousands of screens covered the walls, each one showing a different location. Some showed bases on Mars. Some showed stations hidden in the asteroid belt. Some showed facilities buried deep in the ice of Europa. All of them were waking up. "Signal confirmed," said Lieutenant from his station. He was young, only 26, but he had been chosen for this duty because of his skill with computers. "All primary facilities are responding. Secondary facilities coming online now." Nodded. Her heart was beating fast, but her face showed nothing. A commander could not show fear or excitement. A commander had to be calm. "Begin activation sequence," she ordered. On the screens, she watched as massive doors began to open. These doors had been sealed for over 100 years. Behind them were shipyards the size of cities. Inside those shipyards were warships that the galaxy did not know existed. The truth was simple but incredible. For 2 centuries, humanity had been pretending to be weak. Every ship they showed to the galaxy was old and slow on purpose. Every weapon they demonstrated was underpowered on purpose. Every time alien observers came to study human technology, they were shown only what humanity wanted them to see. The real ships were hidden. Lieutenant approached with a data pad. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and steady hands. She had been born on Europa and had never seen Earth's sky with her own eyes, but she loved humanity with all her heart. "Commander," said, "the numbers are confirmed. We have 473,000 ships ready for immediate deployment. Another 30,000 will be ready within 48 hours. Took the data pad and looked at the numbers. 500,000 warships. Each one was more advanced than anything they had ever built. Each one was crewed by soldiers who had trained their entire lives for a war that everyone hoped would never come. "What about the special projects?" asked. Lowered her voice. "Project Hammer is ready. Project Storm is ready. Project Dawn is at 97%. It will be fully operational within 3 days." Project Dawn had seen the plans for it. She still had trouble believing it was real. If they knew what Project Dawn could do, they would not be making threats. They would be running. Across the solar system, the awakening continued. On Mars, Commander led his troops through underground tunnels that connected hidden bases. These tunnels had been dug by robots over generations. The rock above them was thick enough to block any scanner. No alien had ever detected them. "Move quickly but carefully," told his soldiers. "We have waited 100 years for this. We will not make mistakes now." His soldiers were the best humanity had ever produced. They had trained in virtual reality simulations that were indistinguishable from real combat. They had studied every alien species, every alien weapon, every alien tactic. They knew the better than they knew themselves. On Europa, deep beneath the ice, Captain stood on the bridge of a ship called the Silent Thunder. It was one of the new destroyers, built with technology that humanity had kept secret for generations. The ship was beautiful in a deadly way. Its hull was black as space itself. Its weapons were hidden until the moment of attack. Its engines could push it faster than anything they had ever seen. "All systems online," reported his second officer, a woman named Sora. "We are ready to launch on your command." Looked at his crew. There were 300 of them on this ship. Each one had a family back home. Each one had people they loved. Each one knew they might not survive what was coming. "You all know why we are here," he said. "For 200 years we have hidden our strength. We let the galaxy think we were weak. We let them laugh at us. We let them call us insects and children and fools." He paused. His crew was silent, hanging on every word. "We did this because we are not conquerors. We did not want war. We only wanted to live in peace, to explore the stars, to build a future for our children. But peace has a price. Sometimes the price of peace is showing that you can fight." On the main screen, he could see other ships powering up around them. Hundreds of them. Thousands. They rose from their hiding places like ghosts coming back to life. "Today," continued, "we stop hiding. Today the galaxy learns the truth about humanity. We are not weak. We have never been weak. We simply chose not to fight. But now we have no choice." Across the solar system, similar speeches were being given. Admiral had returned to Earth and now stood in the Global Command Center in the mountains of Korea. Around him, screens showed the full picture of humanity's hidden military. The numbers were staggering. 500,000 warships of various sizes, 2 million fighters and bombers, 30 orbital defense platforms that could destroy entire fleets, and weapons, secret weapons that no alien could imagine. "How long until full deployment?" asked. General Minu, a large man with a face, checked his data. "All ships will be in position within 6 hours. They will not see us until we want them to." Nodded slowly. "And the Council, do they know yet?" "No, sir. All our ships are using stealth technology. To the galaxy's sensors, our solar system looks exactly as it did yesterday. 3,000 old warships, 47 weak defense stations." For the first time in days, allowed himself a small smile. "Good. Let them keep believing that. Let them keep thinking we are nothing." He turned to face his officers. These were the men and women who had kept humanity's secret for their entire careers. They had lived with the burden of knowing the truth while the rest of the galaxy laughed at their species. "In a few hours," said, "everything changes. The galaxy will see what we really are. Some of them will be afraid. Some of them will be angry. Some of them might even try to join the against us." He straightened his uniform. His eyes were hard and bright. "But most of them will finally understand. Humanity is not a species to be conquered. We are not slaves. We are not servants. We are survivors. We have faced extinction on our own world. We have overcome every challenge that nature threw at us. And we will not bow to any empire, no matter how old, no matter how powerful. The countdown continued. Ships launched from hidden bases. Soldiers took their positions. Weapons powered up. And somewhere in the cold of space, the fleet was already moving toward Earth, expecting an easy victory. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The awakening was complete. Humanity was ready for war. The war fleet was the largest ever assembled in galactic history. 120,000 warships moved through space in perfect formation. Their hulls gleamed with the copper color that the loved. Their weapons were charged and ready. Their crews were eager for conquest. High Commander stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominion. It was 3 miles long. Its weapons could crack planets. It had destroyed 12 civilizations in its 500 years of service. Today, it would destroy its 13th. "Time to Earth?" asked. His navigation officer checked the displays. 6 hours at current speed, High Commander. The humans have detected our approach. Their defense fleet is forming around there. Laughed. His laughter was deep and cruel. 3,000 ships against 120,000. This will not be a battle. This will be an execution. Around him, his officers laughed as well. They had not lost a war in 10,000 years. They had forgotten what defeat felt like. They had forgotten that it was even possible. Across the galaxy, other species watched through long-range sensors. They had sent observation ships. They had positioned their energy forms at a safe distance. Dozens of other civilizations had gathered to witness the end of humanity. Some felt sorry for the humans. Most did not care. A few were already planning to claim human territory after they finished their work. In the Galactic Council chamber, representatives discussed what would happen next. "The humans should have surrendered," said the Queen. "Now they will all die. Such a waste." "Their resources will be useful," said an elder. "Their metals, their water, their planets. Once they are finished, we should negotiate for access." "If there is anything left," another representative said, "they are not known for leaving much behind." None of them noticed what was happening in human space. None of their sensors detected anything unusual. The humans had 3,000 old ships gathering around Earth. That was all anyone could see. That was all they were meant to see. On the human side, Admiral watched the enemy fleet approach. He stood in the command center beneath the Korean mountains. Around him, thousands of officers monitored the situation. Every screen showed the same thing, the fleet getting closer and closer. "Distance?" asked. "They will reach engagement range in 4 hours, General Menu reported. Nodded. "And our position?" "All 500,000 ships are in place, sir. They are holding at the dark side of the outer planets. Complete stealth mode. They have no idea they exist." The plan was simple. Let them come close. Let them feel confident. Let them think victory was certain. And then at the perfect moment, show them the truth. "Signal Captain," ordered. "Tell him to prepare the vanguard. When I give the order, he will lead the first wave." Across the solar system, on the bridge of the Silent Thunder, Captain received the message. His ship was one of 10,000 destroyers positioned behind Neptune. They had been waiting in the cold darkness for hours. Now, their time was coming. "All hands battle stations," announced. "This is not a drill, weapons hot, engines ready." His crew moved with perfect efficiency. They had trained for this moment their entire lives. Fear was natural, they felt it, but they did not let it control them. The hours passed. The fleet crossed the orbit of Pluto. They passed Neptune. They passed Uranus. They were now inside the human solar system, moving toward Earth with complete confidence. High Commander was getting impatient. Why are the humans not attacking? Do they think their little defensive position will save them? Perhaps they hope to negotiate at the last moment, his tactical officer suggested. Some species beg for mercy when they see our fleet. There will be no mercy, said. Not after they killed our soldiers. Every human will pay for that crime. The fleet was now passing Saturn. Its beautiful rings reflected the light of distant stars. In normal times, humans came here to admire the view. Today, they were hiding behind it. Admiral watched the tactical display. The enemy fleet was exactly where he wanted them. They were deep inside the solar system, far from any escape route. They were surrounded, and they did not even know it. Now, said quietly. The order went out at the speed of light. It reached every hidden ship in the system. And then, all at once, 500,000 warships dropped their stealth fields and emerged from the darkness. The effect was immediate and devastating. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, every alarm went off at once. High Commander stared at his tactical display in complete shock. Ships were appearing everywhere. Behind them, in front of them, above them, below them. The numbers were impossible. "What is this?" he screamed. "Where did they come from?" "Sir, we are reading. We are reading." His tactical officer could not finish the sentence. His hands were shaking. 500,000 ships. High Commander, they have 500,000 ships. The fleet was suddenly very small. They were 120,000 ships against 500,000. They were surrounded on all sides. They had walked into a trap they never saw coming. Across the galaxy, every species watching fell silent. The Queen dropped the data pad she was holding. The Elder's light flickered and dimmed. Representatives in the Galactic Council stood frozen, unable to believe what their sensors were showing them. The humans had been hiding this fleet for 200 years. No one had suspected. No one had guessed. The young, weak, foolish humans had somehow built the largest military force in galactic history, and they had kept it completely secret. Captain led the vanguard forward. His 10,000 destroyers moved in perfect formation. They were fast and deadly. Their weapons locked onto targets. "All ships," said calmly, "fire at will." The first shots of the war crossed the void. Human weapons were different from anything the galaxy had seen. They did not use plasma or lasers or missiles. They used something else entirely. They called it impossible. Human scientists called it compressed gravity. Each shot created a tiny point of infinite density. When it hit a ship, the ship was crushed in an instant. Hulls that could survive nuclear weapons were crumpled like paper. Shields that could block any known weapon failed immediately. In the first 60 seconds, 2,000 ships were destroyed. High Commander watched his fleet die around him. He had never known fear before. Now he understood it completely. "Retreat," he screamed. "All ships retreat." But there was nowhere to retreat to. The humans were everywhere. Their ships were faster. Their weapons were stronger. Every direction led to death. The Empire had ruled for 10,000 years. They had conquered 600 worlds. They had destroyed civilizations older than time. And now, in the cold space around Saturn, they learned what it felt like to be helpless. The galaxy watched in horror. Humanity had arrived. And the galaxy trembled. The battle lasted 17 minutes. 17 minutes to destroy the greatest fleet the Empire had ever assembled. 17 minutes to change the balance of power in the entire galaxy. 17 minutes to prove that humanity was not what anyone had believed. Lieutenant flew her fighter through the wreckage. Her squadron had been assigned to clean up duty, hunting down escape pods and damaged ships that might try to flee. But there was little work to do. The fleet had been so thoroughly destroyed that few ships had survived long enough to launch escape pods. "This is Blue Squadron," reported. "Sector 7 is clear. No hostile contacts remaining." Her voice was steady, but her hands were shaking. She had trained for combat her entire life. She had run simulations thousands of times, but nothing could prepare her for the reality of war. Around her floated the remains of copper-colored ships. Bodies drifted in the void. They had been her enemies, but they had still been living beings. "Copy, Blue Squadron," came the reply from command. "Return to carrier for refuel and rearm. Good work out there." Good work was not sure those were the right words. Necessary work, perhaps, terrible work, but someone had to do it. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, High Commander was still alive. His flagship had been disabled but not destroyed. Human Marines had boarded the vessel and secured it within minutes. Now stood in his own command center, surrounded by human soldiers pointing weapons at him. Captain entered the bridge. He walked calmly past the crew members who knelt on the floor with their hands behind their heads. He stopped in front of and looked up at the massive alien. "High Commander," said, "I am captain of the Human Defense Force. You are now a prisoner of war. You will be treated according to the Geneva Conventions and the Galactic Treaty on Prisoners. You will not be harmed if you cooperate." Stared down at the small human. Just hours ago, he had planned to burn Earth and enslave every human alive. Now he was a prisoner on his own ship. Hal asked, his voice was broken. "How did you do this? We watched you for 300 years, we scanned your systems, we studied your technology. How did we miss this?" Allowed himself a small smile. "You saw what we wanted you to see. You believed what we wanted you to believe. That is all. But the ships, the weapons, this is impossible. No species has ever hidden something this large." "No species has ever been as patient as we are," replied. "You had 10,000 years of conquest. We had 300 years of preparation. I think our time was better spent." Across the solar system, the cleanup continued. Human medical ships moved through the debris field, searching for survivors. Both human and wounded were brought aboard for treatment. Admiral had given strict orders: show mercy to those who surrendered. This was not about revenge. This was about survival and respect. On Earth, people gathered in the streets. For generations, they had been told that humanity was weak. Their governments had maintained the lie to protect the secret. Now, as news of the battle spread, humans everywhere learned the truth about their own species. In Seoul, an old woman watched the news on a large screen in the city center. Tears ran down her face. Her father had worked in the hidden shipyards on Luna. He had died never being able to tell anyone what he had helped build. Now, finally, his work was known. In New York, children looked up at the sky and imagined the fleet that protected them. They had grown up believing that Earth was defenseless. Now they knew they were wrong. In Tokyo, a young man thought about his grandmother. She had always told him that humans were special, that they had survived ice ages and plagues and wars. She said that nothing could truly defeat humanity. He had thought she was just being patriotic. Now he understood she was telling the truth. At the Galactic Council chamber, chaos erupted. Representatives screamed at each other. Some demanded that all species unite against the humans. Others argued that the humans had only defended themselves. A few suggested that maybe, just maybe, the galaxy had been wrong about humanity all along. The Queen was the first to receive a direct communication from Earth. Her hands trembled as she activated the holographic display. Admiral's face appeared before her. "Queen of the," said, "I am speaking to you and to all members of the Galactic Council. They attacked our people. We defended ourselves. The war between humanity and thee is over." The Queen could not speak. She simply stared at the human. "We do not seek revenge against the," continued. "We do not seek to conquer their territory. We want only one thing, to be left in peace. Any species that respects this wish will have nothing to fear from humanity." He paused. His eyes seemed to look directly at every being watching. "But any species that threatens our people, our worlds, or our future will face the same fate as this fleet. We have been patient for 300 years. We can be patient for 300 more. Or we can end any threat in 17 minutes. The choice belongs to the galaxy." The message ended. Silence filled the council chamber. Back in the solar system, Commander stood on the observation deck of Luna Base. Below her, Earth turned slowly. Blue oceans, green lands, white clouds, home. General Minu joined her. "The council is terrified," he said. "Our intelligence reports suggest that at least a dozen species are already sending diplomatic missions. They want to negotiate treaties with us." Endo asked. "Their empire is in shock. Without their main fleet, they cannot maintain control over all their conquered worlds. There are already reports of rebellion starting on some planets." Nodded, she felt no joy at this news. There had been cruel rulers, but the chaos of rebellion would mean more death, more suffering. War always had consequences. "What happens now?" she asked. Minu looked at Earth alongside her. "Now we wait, we stay strong, we show the galaxy that we are not to be challenged, and maybe, eventually, we find a way to live in real peace." "Do you think that is possible?" "I do not know," Minu admitted. "But I hope so. We built this fleet hoping we would never have to use it. Maybe someday we can put the ships away again. Maybe someday we will not need them." On the disabled flagship, Captain oversaw the transfer of prisoners. High Commander walked past him toward a human transport. The alien stopped and looked at one last time. "We will remember this day," said. "My people will never forget what happened here." Met his gaze. "Neither will mine, but we can choose how to remember it, as the start of endless war, or as the day both our species learned to respect each other." Had no response. He turned and walked onto the transport. Lieutenant landed her fighter on the carrier deck. As she climbed out of the cockpit, her hands were finally steady. Around her, other pilots were doing the same. Some were crying. Some were silent. Some were hugging each other. They had done what needed to be done. They had fought and won, but none of them felt like celebrating. The reckoning was complete. The galaxy would never see humanity the same way again. Now came the harder part, building a future where such reckonings would never be needed again. 1 month had passed since the battle. The galaxy was still trying to understand what had happened. News of humanity's victory had spread to every corner of known space. Species that had never heard of Earth now spoke the planet's name with wonder and fear. Admiral stood once again in the Galactic Council chamber. But this time, everything was different. He did not stand alone on the small platform for lesser species. He stood in the center of the chamber, on the main floor, where only the oldest and most powerful civilizations were allowed. The representatives looked down at him from their seats. Many of the same faces were there. The Queen, the Elder, hundreds of other beings from hundreds of other worlds. But the way they looked at him had changed completely. There was no more pity in their eyes. There was only respect and, in some cases, fear. The throne was empty. High Commander was still a prisoner on Earth. The Empire itself was falling apart. Without their fleet, they could not hold their conquered worlds together. 300 planets had already declared independence. More were doing so every day. "Admiral," the Queen said. Her voice was careful and polite. "We thank you for accepting our invitation to speak. The Galactic Council wishes to discuss the future." Nodded. "I am here to listen and to speak honestly." The Elder pulsed with soft light. "We have many questions. The first is the most important. What does humanity want?" It was the question everyone had been asking for a month. Humanity had just proven itself to be the strongest military power in the galaxy. They could conquer anyone. They could demand anything. What would they choose? "What humanity wants," said, "is very simple. We want to be left alone. We want to explore the stars, to build colonies, to raise our children, to live in peace. We have no desire to rule over other species. We have no interest in building an empire." A murmur went through the chamber. Many did not believe him. In the history of the galaxy, every powerful species had used that power to conquer. Why would humans be different? "You will forgive us for being skeptical," said a representative from the Federation, a species of tall, blue-skinned beings. No civilization with such strength has ever chosen not to use it. Smiled slightly, then perhaps humanity will be the first. He looked around the chamber. He saw the fear in their eyes. He understood it. If he were in their position, he would be afraid too. Let me explain something about humans, he continued. We did not build our fleet because we wanted war. We built it because we were afraid. When we first came to the stars, we were young and hopeful. We thought the galaxy would welcome us. Instead, we found empires that looked at us like food, species that laughed at our weakness, civilizations that planned to conquer us the moment they found it convenient. His voice grew harder. We learned very quickly that kindness is often seen as weakness. We learned that the galaxy respects only strength, so we became strong, but strength was never our goal. It was only our tool for survival. The chamber was silent. Every being listened to his words. Now that we have proven our strength, said, we hope we can put it aside. We hope we can find species that will treat us as equals, not as prey. We hope we can build relationships based on respect rather than fear. He paused, but we are not naive. We know that some will still see us as a threat. We know that some will try to destroy us before we become stronger. To those species, I say this, do not make that mistake. Our fleet is still there. Our weapons are still ready. We do not want to use them again, but we will if we must. The Queen leaned forward. And what if their empire is collapsing? Millions will suffer. Will humanity help them? It was a test. Everyone knew it. They had threatened to enslave all of humanity. Would humans now show mercy to their fallen enemy? Yes, said, we will help them. Surprise rippled through the chamber. The people are not our enemies, explained. Their leaders made bad choices. Their military attacked us. But the ordinary who farm and build and raise families did nothing wrong. They deserve a chance to build something better. He straightened his back. Humanity is sending food and medical supplies to worlds in crisis. We are offering to help negotiate peace between thee and the species they once conquered. We are not doing this because we have to. We are doing it because it is right. The elder's light glowed brighter. This is unexpected. Perhaps that is the point, said. The galaxy expected us to be conquerors because that is what power has always meant here. But humanity wants to show a different way. Strength does not have to mean cruelty. Victory does not have to mean oppression. Back on Earth, Lieutenant watched the speech on her data pad. She was sitting in a small park in her. Around her, children played and old couples walked together. Life was returning to normal. She thought about the battle. She thought about the ships she had destroyed. She thought about the bodies floating in space. Some nights she still had nightmares about it. But she also thought about what Admiral was saying. Humanity had proven its strength. Now it was trying to prove something more important, that strength could be used for good. Her communicator buzzed. It was a message from Captain. I know you are on leave, the message said, but I thought you should know. High Commander asked to speak with his family today. We arranged a communication link. He has a daughter. She is young, about 12 of their years. He told her that he loves her and that he will come home someday. Read the message twice. The monster who had threatened to burn Earth was also a father who loved his child. War was never simple. Enemies were never just enemies. In the council chamber, the discussion continued for hours. Many species made promises to respect humanity's space. Some offered trade agreements. A few asked if they could send ambassadors to Earth. The galaxy was reorganizing itself around a new reality. Finally, as the session ended, Admiral prepared to leave. The Queen stopped him. Admiral, she said, I must ask you something personally. When you stood in this chamber 1 month ago, when High Commander threatened your entire species, were you afraid? Considered the question. Yes, he admitted, I was afraid. But you did not show it. No, because showing fear would not have helped anyone. It would not have protected my people. So I stayed calm, delivered my message, and returned home to do what needed to be done. The queen nodded slowly. I think I understand humans better now. You feel fear like anyone else, but you do not let it control you. You use it. We try, said. We do not always succeed, but we try. He walked out of the chamber. His shuttle was waiting to take him home. As he boarded, he looked back at the massive crystal structure of the council. For 300 years, humanity had dreamed of being accepted here. Now they were, but acceptance had come through strength, not kindness. Maybe the next 300 years would be different. Maybe humanity could show the galaxy that there were other ways to earn respect. Maybe the weapons could stay hidden forever this time. Or maybe not. The future was uncertain. There would be new threats, new challenges, new enemies. Humanity would face them all just as they had faced everything else. On Earth, the sun was setting over the Pacific Ocean. Commander stood on a beach in Korea, watching the colors spread across the sky. General Minyu stood beside her. "What are you thinking about?" he asked. "The future," she said. "All those stars out there, all those species, all that possibility. And all that danger." "Yes, that too," she smiled. "But we are ready for it. We have always been ready. That is what humanity does. We survive, we adapt, we overcome." Minyu nodded. The galaxy trembled when they saw our fleet. But I think what should really make them tremble is not our ships or our weapons. What then? Our patience, our hope, our stubborn refusal to give up no matter what. Those are the things that make humans truly dangerous. Laughed. It was a warm sound, full of life. Then may the galaxy never have to learn just how dangerous we can be. The stars came out, one by one, filling the sky with light. Somewhere out there, 500,000 warships waited in the darkness. Somewhere out there, civilizations were watching Earth with new eyes. Somewhere out there, the future was being written. And humanity was finally ready to write its own chapter. The new dawn had begun.